Howdy. Welcome back to the Hooligans pitch. It's been a little 2 week
2 weeks.
break.
We took a little break. Just a little one.
But we're back in action, back for match day 28.
Oh man,
big game this weekend. But I don't want to jump into it before we get into our drinks.
Yes,
you're gonna need it this time for sure.
Yeah, this is a venting beer I have called Indigo Island. It's where I'm going to send Michael Oliver after the season ends. He can go live there forever, but we'll see how it tastes. Haven't had it before. It's out of Colorado. I really liked the art. The art kind of sold me. Cool. And then
that's the best way to buy beer when you're just going off the can art. So.
Yeah, the aesthetic, man. I said this is pretty, and I said, oh, it's a juicy. We'll rock with that.
Perf, yeah.
And what did you have over there?
Well, we've had this puppy in the fridge for some time. And I wanted to make room in the fridge. So it's a cocktail in can, a Cutwater espresso martini.
Hell yeah, okay.
It's 13%, so...
Whoa, sir. It's a Monday night. It's a Monday night.
It's a Monday night, and, I came to party.
Well, you might vent more than me tonight, but I don't know if you need to vent. Chad, we got 10 games left, and I was kind of looking back at last year, and okay, was the last year comment?
It's great. Yep.
All right, so this might make you say, "Whoa!" Too. Last year, 10 games left. You say Arsenal had this in the bag, and looking at this year now, you're almost in the exact same position, but you got two teams. Yeah, we'll say they're on your tail, even though pretty much Liverpool is right there with you, and City, right there in third place too, just down a point, which is just incredible. These three teams are all in the hunt for this thing, and if you were to have a three-sided die and you roll that thing, it could be any number, and I would say, sure, they deserved it. But before we kind of dive into everything, I do think Man City right now is the third best team in the Premier League.
I would agree. I think we've kind of talked about it through the whole season, just like their defense has had holes. It's been shaky. I don't think they've been able to kind of exert that control over games that we're used to seeing from them.
Right.
And, I know they've maybe had some injuries or some guys missed through suspension. And like we've seen, Rodri isn't in the team, and then that they fall apart. They can't operate. So they seem to be not even like a thin squad this year, just not all on the same page, I guess.
They're not as crisp.
Yeah, certainly. Right. But yeah, I would agree. I think Liverpool has looked better even through their hardships this season. And Arsenal, I think, especially since the start of the new year, has looked probably, I'd say, maybe the best.
Yeah.
With some weak teams in there, so I'm not trying to go just off of goals scored, but I think Arsenal's kind of in they're in a better spot than last year, only because now the injured players are coming back now, whereas I felt like last year was we kind of got to this point where we were losing Saliba, Partey was out, we started losing guys at this point when it's we need them for the run in here.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of happening across the board with these three teams, right? Most of these teams are getting their guys back. City is really just missing Grealish. Liverpool hasn't had Salah in a minute. We're still missing Trent. Robertson's coming back. So, the teams are starting to shape up to hopefully for these last 10 games, we're seeing the A teams coming out, which I want to believe Klopp planned for that, especially with the cup tie in the last couple of weeks and just how we've been playing. We haven't rushed Salah back at all since AFCON. We've been really patient, and I think this game was kind of the catalyst on, okay, it's kind of go time here pretty soon. And I think now with maybe after the Arsenal City game that's coming up, that'll be a big factor in how we play it out too. Because I feel like we've been patient, but at a certain point, it's go time. We got 10 games left. I understand the position we're in is great, but at some point we got to start thumping teams too and making up on this goal differential, because that's a crazy factor that
comes down to that.
It's a factor that could happen, and I think we all need to start preparing for it. Right now, I think every team we play, we need to start blowing them out. I really do.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy that's going to be a thought process when it comes down to, match 3-2-1 down to the end. It's wild to think about. So maybe we start with Arsenal first, just because that was kind of the game that, obviously it brought you guys to the top of the league, but it was also the game that we all, City and Liverpool, were looking at too. It's like, okay, well, if we lose, win, or draw this game, where do we end up? Right? We were all looking at it. We were like, well, where do we want to be? Where do we want Liverpool to win?
Everyone's got the chart out of well, if they win, but then they lose this game.
Yeah, it was always sunny with the billboard. I'm like tying everything together. So let's start with that game. I'm sure you had your moments of anxiety and stress, and I was here for it too. I thought Arsenal played fine. Obviously we're so used to them blowing out teams in the last month. Yeah. How many goals y'all score in the last month?
I think it was 22 scored, and 1 or 2 allowed or something.
In 5 matches?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's insane. So to come into Brentford though, and to see Brentford put a pretty good stop to that with missing their key defensive players, I thought Brentford did a pretty good job. Now, the blunder that we all saw, what did you think about that?
Well, I mean, from the get-go, not that I have a mistrust in Ramsdale, but he just hasn't been playing. So now we're forced to swap him out. So just the uneasiness, even before the game started, of having a different keeper back there. So I mean, nerves were on. You could, I think, probably see that Ramsdale was also a little bit maybe nervy, not really shaky, I'd say, but it's he's finally getting the chance to play again, and it might be the last game he actually plays for Arsenal at this point. So I think he felt that pressure too. I think that first half was all pretty straightforward. Brentford put up some good stops, but I think their biggest thing in that first half was not allowing Arsenal to get off to their quick start of scoring in the first 10 minutes. That seems to be a big win within the game for teams right now, of just stopping that onslaught. Because I mean, you've seen over the past month that starts early, and then sometimes it just piles on, and then the game is away by halftime.
And that's been the comparison that I've seen this last 2 months of play is, Liverpool's winning games but taking the whole 90 to do it, while Arsenal's winning games in 25 minutes. Yeah.
So I think it might have been Pep said in an interview about Arsenal that they have to play 25, 30 minutes, and then they've got the win. Whereas City, when they're struggling, and Liverpool playing an hour or so of game before they can feel comfortable. So good on Brentford to kind of put up that wall and disrupt the flow. There is a lot of time wasting tactics and stuff in there to disrupt that, but if they watch that game away to Porto, then good on them, because that really threw off the rhythm, and Arsenal already didn't play great in that game against Porto, but when they can't get in that rhythm and flow, it certainly makes it more difficult to get going. But I was halftime up 1. This is good. It's not the 4 goals at half that I've been used to, but it's a lead, right? And then Ramsdale, I don't want to put it all on Ramsdale, because I think it looks like he's looking for the midfield pass. So I think either Rice or Jorginho should have been back sooner once that ball was kind of getting passed around the back.
What about the pass to him? I thought that was really harsh to make your keeper do that when Wisa was running full speed at Gabby. And I understand the whole what's the right word I'm looking for here? The ideology of Arsenal's back line is to play out the back, right?
Yeah.
But old Ramsdale might have just got that ball and booted it.
Yeah. Which I mean, at this point of the game, stoppage time of the first half, I think that's a fair tackle.
Right? I don't think anyone would have been, obviously not. They would have been mad at him because now a goal happened. But I don't think Ramsdale was the only one at fault here, which seems I see a lot of mixed messages based on, it's like, well, he should have booted it, but at the same time that pass was rough with Wisa running out full speed. Like it could have gone a lot of ways. It just didn't go his way on that moment, which sucks because
it's just the script writers writing the perfect story, right? Like, all right, Raya can't play, Ramsdale's in, like, what's gonna happen? And then, oh yeah, he makes a mistake, and then immediately camera cuts to Raya on the bench. Like, it's just it was destiny, but before the game even started, I think, to have some blunder.
Of course.
It sucks to go in at half tied when it looked like you were going in with the lead, and especially to give Brentford a goal back in the game now gives them something to really try and hang on to, and possibly even build off of. So halftime was I don't know, I wasn't feeling too down about it, just kind of more annoyed, I guess. But then I thought second half, like, Arsenal still came out pretty strong. Still had a lot of control of the game, and we're getting some good opportunities. And I don't know how many corners they had in that first maybe like 15 minutes of that second half, but it seemed like every ball was getting deflected out for a corner. And I was hoping that Arsenal, being the most scoring team from I think corners or maybe set pieces in general, I was hoping they could put something away and just ease the tension early on, but of course not. And then Tony gets that half field shot against Ramsdale, and I think that maybe goes in if Ramsdale doesn't get his fingers to it.
He made some incredible acrobatic saves that game. He definitely kept Arsenal in it. Did he make up for his blunder? Of course, I think he completely did. It's good to see him kind of check back in and he just wasn't down and out. Because if he was down and out, there's mentally coming back from that, like that wouldn't have been good. So yeah, he was on his toes for a couple of those saves. I thought he did really well.
Yeah, I think Ramsdale definitely like redeemed himself with not only the Tony save, but Collins, I think it was, that had like that open header. He was alert and on his toes, like he said. So, it's good to have a good backup, but I don't think he's going to hang around after this season. He'll probably go off somewhere and get the playtime he deserves. Which, for Arsenal, I hope they just get some money for him, because Arsenal's not been good at selling players. So that's maybe the last key part of like the building of this like new Arsenal, is to like be able to actually sell a player and get something in return, instead of selling them for cheap. Or I think, who was it? Damn, I can't remember. But someone recently went for cheap just because they like are a decent player, but Arteta, as he does, kind of freezes players out if they're not good enough, and then they go for so cheap because the team can come in and say, well, you're not playing there, so why should I pay any more?
Was it in this last year?
I don't think the last year. I think maybe the year before. I forget who it was though. But yeah, it's kind of a glimpse back to last year, almost, with like the late dramatic win. Shout out to Ben White. He's definitely on my Player of the Week nominations. 2 great assists. Havertz, he's been on a little tear here. He's finding his form, finding the goals, and a lot of important goals.
Confidence is high with him right now.
Yeah. So kind of interested to see if he keeps building on that. I think he works better in that kind of striker false nine kind of role, more so than actually in the midfield. So I think that's probably where he'll continue to play, even with Jesus back. I think it'll be smarter to use Jesus maybe right now at left wing, since Martinelli's dealing with a little foot injury. I mean, like I said last week, well, last episode, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, all in this like must-win territory. So maybe it wasn't the prettiest win over Brentford, but come away with all 3 points. I mean, you see it in the table now. It put Arsenal up at tied for first, but up on goal differential. But
You're number one right now.
It's a big win that might mean something down the road. We'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think as we reach this final stretch too, we'll remember all these games much more clearly rather than the first 10 games we played, right? I mean, you go back to well, what even happened those first 10 games? No one really knows unless you go back in the schedule and you can kind of put the pieces together. But it's these final 10 that will really define and shape what the table will look like. And we can just jump to Villa and Tottenham. Like, everyone's going to remember Tottenham beating Villa 4-0. If Tottenham gets that number 4 spot and Aston Villa doesn't. So, these games right now are crucial. I'm happy Liverpool doesn't have to play Arsenal and City anymore. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish if we were tied on points that it just came to a sudden death match. I think that'd be awesome, even though that's not in the law of the game. Yeah. I just wish we could adjust a couple things to really make this thing huge. But hey, that's how the season works. If we got to score more goals than you, but match up on points, we got to start doing it now. Because now we have a stretch of games where we got to start thumping some teams. So we'll see how that goes. But congrats on you guys for being top of the table today. It's 10 games to go. All eyes are on you now, which is kind of nice.
I remember we talked about that. Is Arsenal kind of chilling in third since they don't have all the pressure? And I think not having that pressure is definitely a benefit. But then here at the 10-game run-in, it's you kind of have to take what you can get. So if you got the chance to step to the top of the table, I think you take it. And then at least especially for this team, hopefully they just kind of learned off the back of last year of it's 10 games. You just got to keep knocking them out one by one. We'll see. We'll see if they can do it. I hope this doesn't come down to a goal differential. It's going to be so stressful.
You have 7, though. You have a 7-goal lead right now. That's a lot.
It looks great right now, but then
one Sheffield game.
That's it,
One City thumping. You just... Not to put it into existence, but I feel you. It's going to be fascinating when it comes down to the end. All right, are you ready to jump into the City Liverpool game?
Yeah, let's get that one.
Boy, oh boy, Chad. Usually these games for me are at 11:45, right? So it's lunchtime, middle of the day. It's a little earlier, so it's eating breakfast. First half. I was feeling good. The first 20 minutes, I felt super, super evenly matched with them. I didn't think one team was going to outshine the other. I thought, did both teams look sharp out the gates? Not really. I thought there were a couple moments when we would possess, they would possess, but nothing too dangerous, right? Nothing really crazy happened. And then City got that corner, and De Bruyne just pinged that thing in there, kind of Trent Alexander-Arnold-ish back against Barcelona, kind of same idea. And I think they caught a snooze in. I think
a little bit, yeah.
I think, City's really good at making you pay if you don't pay attention for 5 seconds. And that's all it took. It took 5 seconds for things to shut off, blink, open our eyes back up, we're down 1-0. It was that fast, right? And I see a lot of the comments about Ake pushing McAllister out of the way and the off-ball screen thing, and it's nah, not really. He there wasn't anything malicious there. There wasn't anything illegal there. Did they tussle? Barely. They barely tussled.
I mean, yeah, it's nothing more, maybe not even the same level of a normal tussle in a corner, right? I didn't. That didn't jump out to me as a blocking issue or any of that.
No, and it wouldn't shock me if Pep saw Liverpool do this with Endo a couple weeks ago and said, "Oh, this is this is really smart. How can we use this?" I mean, we haven't seen them use this before, so for them to use this in this game was pretty amazing. And I bet it's going to have a lot of teams kind of saying, "Okay, how can we use this kind of like basketball off-ball screen thing legally?" And it's a perfect time to use it on a corner. Now, McAllister's just let it happen. There was no fight back on it, and I do think teams are going to be like, you can't just get walked out of the way. I mean, he just barely lifted him up and just said, "We're going to go this way now."
That was part of my thoughts on it too. Is that if you want to try and call it an illegal block or something, like I think McAllister has to put up a opposite fight in there to show that he wants to go that way. But like he doesn't. He just kind of moves with Ake away from goal. And I think that just kind of speaks to, like you said, that just a little shut off of not really being ready and aware. And even I think it was Darwin that was on Stones initially. Just kind of lets him go and is watching for the ball to come in, but not expecting it to be pinged right to that near post. So yeah, I had no issue with anything in that corner. As a great play,
I mean, I was mad about it. I was mad that our defense fell asleep.
Beyond that, but nothing that would make me try and think that it'll get called back or anything.
No, I wasn't. I did not expect a referee to jump. I was like, maybe there's a foul in here somewhere. But when they showed that replay, and I was like, okay, like we've seen much, as we'll get to, we've seen much crazier things happen in the box and not get called. That is not the peak of goals scored with things happening right next to them. So that occurred, and it definitely got my blood pressure rising, and it was like go. It was right then. It was like, all right, it's go time. It's like it's fight. We need to fight back now and start making some moves.
I mean, Liverpool loves a go down and then turn it on comeback, right?
That's our motto this season.
Yeah.
And we did exactly that. We played. I thought we played so good this game. Not in terms of possessing or slice and dicing them, which there were moments when we did that, but I just thought we were faster to every ball. I thought we were out hustling them to on defense, on our counters. Endo was a menace. I mean, he truly was. Every ball that was in the air, I felt like we were going to win it. I never really was worried. I never was worried when City had the ball in the midfield, just because they were dispossessing the ball. Countless of times. I probably should have kept track, but again, I probably would have lost track because they just kept passing it and we stole it. Joe Gomez was crazy in the midfield. And you know me, I don't like when Gomez went to the right side, I was like, this could be the doom. Like this is, I got nervous when Robertson got brought in. I was like, well, I understand why we want to bring Robertson in, but I almost didn't agree with Bradley getting taken out.
I mean, I put that in my notes is that, match after match we're seeing Bradley and he's looking like better and better, and Liverpool's just got like a Trent regen on their hands, like waiting to step in.
So that made me kind of question what our tactic was at that point. Just because Gomez was, when Gomez plays on that left side, he's almost inverted. He's almost kind of playing Zinchenko like, right? He's not a true left back there. He's definitely kind of playing in a little bit more and letting Virgil just handle that whole area, which is just amazing how good Virgil is at it. When Bradley got taken out and Gomez went to the right and Robertson got brought back in, I was like, maybe we're just going to kind of shift our focus towards the left-hand side of the pitch and let Salah kind of hold down that right side and just hope like Gomez doesn't have to do too much. So and that's kind of what we did too. I mean, first 2 minutes Salah gets in, he almost has a beautiful assist, and that's because Gomez. That wouldn't have happened if Bradley was there, because that would have been Bradley on the ball instead of Salah. So I kind of see what we were doing there, and I wish it would have paid off a little more. But to see the likes of Harvey Elliott stepping up and just being all over the pitch,
he looked great.
Awesome. Diaz, man, if that guy could finish anything,
his dribbling this game was like
possessed
tier. Like
possessed.
it was incredible.
What in
But
the
then you
hell?
had his finishing every time,
Dude,
just let him
it's like,
down.
oh God!
Come
But
on,
you know what?
man.
He that never broke his spirit though.
No,
Not once.
Yeah.
When he made Kyle Walker just kick air and just like do like a 360, oh man, that was brilliant. Then he like kicked it off his face too to win the corner.
Yeah.
That was awesome. It was really cool to see. I'm getting like goosebumps right now just even thinking about it. And like these are guys that, you know, we're playing players right now who have been missing a ton of time and just haven't been 18 players for a majority of this season. And to come out against the City team like this, who pretty much had most of their squad,
Yeah.
you know, they're not starting Diaz, which is
That's what I had on my notes too, is that Liverpool's basically playing without 5 to 6 first teamers, right? Salah, Trent, Konate, Robertson, Allison, Jota, if you throw him in, you're starting. Like, and they put this performance up against a basically full City team.
Bro.
Like,
that's why I'm like not mad at this at all.
yeah, like it's one of those draws where it's like Liverpool won.
Oh,
Even though like you would have rather taken the 3 points, but you know, Liverpool definitely came out looking the better team, I think.
Pep would never say it, but he's very happy with this result.
Yeah.
I you know, they had a couple chances that went off the post, the Foden like
Crazy,
off the dude. If that would have went in, I would have been just not our day, right? Not our day.
Yeah.
The only other one that stands out is the Doku one. You know, like that was really close. It just hit the wrong side of the post. Really unfortunate there that for them it didn't go in, but at the same time the soccer god said, "Not your day."
Yeah. I mean, it's the same as, you know, Liverpool had at least 2 perfect chances for Diaz that he just got wrong.
Yeah.
So it very easily could have went either way. But I think like Liverpool did enough to get Kevin De Bruyne subbed out early and like arguing with Pep.
That's crazy, right? and you know, I try when they showed that clip of them talking in the stands together. You know, you see De Bruyne pointing to something on the pitch and telling Pep, you know, like this should have happened there, and Pep was like trying to explain to him why, but they did not agree on whatever was being spoken about. And I wish we could know exactly what went on there, but that's not good for team morale when your best player and the coach are going at it. Now I'm sure at the end of it, you know, we're just talking like that's just us being us, but
Sure, yeah.
He was not happy coming off.
But I mean, yeah, this is, you know, potentially title deciding game. Yep. So De Bruyne is expecting to be out there the whole time because he knows he can contribute in a meaningful way. And I think probably the rest of his teammates are out there expecting him to be there and, you know, pulling the strings as he normally does. And I wouldn't be surprised if them seeing him get subbed off, maybe whether they realize it or not, like upset their confidence a little bit of like, oh, this is not good.
So that's, you know, when he got subbed off, I made the note that this didn't seem pre-planned, right?
I don't think so. Yeah.
And if Pep had this idea, it's like, you know, if I'm going to take Kevin off at the 70th minute, I don't understand why he wouldn't play him in the back 70 rather than the first 70.
Yeah. I mean, if that was a plan, I guess he's thinking, you know, we'll go real hard, kill him in the first 70 so I don't need him later. But I think when you get to the 70th minute and it's 1-1, you probably say, sorry, Kevin, you're out there because I know you can make that pass to find Haaland. And, you know, it almost felt like I had this thought when it happened of like, it almost felt like a passing of the torch between De Bruyne and Foden, right? Like Foden's kind of been occupying that creative late run De Bruyne role while he's been out in the season. And then even now that he's been back in for 8-9 games, whatever it is, you know, Foden is still, I think, seeing more consistent game time and playing well. So that doesn't hurt. But I think, you're at some point you're moving on from Kevin. He's 32, maybe 31, 32. So, he's kind of at the end of his top competitive career.
Yeah, back half of the prime, for sure.
Yeah, so for Foden to stay out there rather than Kevin, I think was... I don't know. I'm maybe just reading too much into that, but like that felt like a one of those like moments where it's like, oh yeah, like Foden's your new guy.
Yeah, that's a pretty hot take. I won't lie, but also I see it coming into fruition too, because Foden has kind of been that guy in the last month. My other thought process was we put Joe Gomez on the right hand side, and Pep said that's probably the weak point. Let's put Doku out there. I just don't understand why you couldn't have both. Like, you brought in Kovacic for Alvarez. Why? I'm sorry, you brought in Kovacic for mostly De Bruyne and played the same role. I just didn't understand why that was... Why Pep thought that was the move that could change this game. Kovacic.
Yeah. I mean, Kovacic has, like, decent passing on him, but I think
I'm saying he didn't, but, like, De Bruyne has been... He's already having this season. He comes in 20 minutes in the game, 11 scores and assists, and gets a game winner. Like, I don't know. I was shocked. I think we were all shocked when Kevin got subbed out.
It was like I expected Doku to come in at some point, but I thought it would just be like a straight swap for Alvarez. Honestly, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of showed, I guess, intention to like go for the win, but then at the same time, like taking off De Bruyne also kind of signals the other way too.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Obviously, from my point of view, I was like, great, take him off. A factor I don't have to worry about anymore. But it's a Haaland and De Bruyne show, and we saw none of Haaland this game.
None.
And that was crazy. He had one chance on the ball when he was running at Virgil. And
Virgil played that perfectly.
He was so patient. Oh my God. That was just amazing. And he got the shot off, but it was ineffective and meant nothing. And that was his only touch in the box.
So it depends where you look.
Okay.
So FB Ref has him with no touches in the box.
Oh, damn.
Whereas I think it was the CBS Sports that I sent you were saying he had that one touch. And if you watch the shot, it is kind of like right at the edge.
Okay.
So yeah, but either way, it's not a great highlight of Haaland. That was the only thing he really contributed, but it's also not a great thing to show. I mean, you would think Haaland's, big, he's quick, he has a good shot on him, should be able to outmaneuver one defender, and especially like Virgil's running backwards with him, right? Like he's not really getting set and then moving to where he goes. But Virgil he's got that aura or
he got
something
that
around
dog in him.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. He
played
it so perfect.
I don't think Haaland has that dog yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you might be right. Like he just kind of. He comes on to goals very easily, but then when it comes up with a team where like they know how to defend or they have that big dude in the back that can shut you down, he does seem to kind of, if not like disappear, like at least he's quiet that game.
It's not like Zlatan. When Zlatan had the ball, he was coming at you. It's like the mental was already won by Zlatan because he's like his ego is so big. He's like, I'm better than you. I don't care what you say. Virgil probably said to Haaland in that run, I'm better than you, and Haaland might have said, Shit. Like, he's right. That's what it looked like, and that's what it looked like for the whole game on his end. And so non-factor, he earns the non-factor reward from me. So that was fantastic from the team, just shutting him down completely. I mean, if I were to ask you, you never watched a game of soccer in your life, and I said, who's the best striker in the world right now? The guy in blue or the guy in red? I imagine you would say the guy in red because Nunez was all over the place too in this. And when he got subbed off, I was honestly surprised. I wanted Gakpo to come in, but I was like, who? I was like, I didn't really know who he was going to come in for. I didn't think Gakpo was the answer either to find a way to score.
Yeah. I mean, Nunez is making a lot of good runs. I mean, yeah, a lot of them ended up being offside, but he was finding those channels, right? And a few of those were just passed a little too late, or he started his run just a touch early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me that was probably a keep Nunez on the whole game if he can make it. I don't know if he was feeling something, but between him and Diaz, they were both showing so much drive and threat, and then Salah comes in and is going to add to that.
That's what I'm saying.
More.
That's why I wanted him to stay in for a little bit longer. I just wanted
partnership between Salah and Nunez that they've had this season. Like, it probably might have paid off. I don't know.
They were stressing City out. Even though you're offside, even though you're stressing them out, you're making them go, holy shit, sprinting back on defense.
Yeah.
Obviously Ederson making a terrible tackle, which could have really hurt Nunez and everything too. Yeah. It is what he does. You're 100% right. We've seen that time and time again. I don't get how this guy has won Keeper of the Year. It's only because he's on City. It's crazy how a keeper can win an award like this.
Yeah.
Because the team in front of you.
I know they kind of got rid of that like double jeopardy rule for penalties, but like he kind of just kicks through, right?
Such bull, dude.
I guess karma kind of comes around where he goes off injured. It's listed as a knee injury, and the quote on it is, "It doesn't look good." So, what that means, I don't know necessarily, but I mean, yeah, like I think that you're like a really dark burnt orange card on that. Really, like
lucky to be on with a yellow, and then of course gets subbed out. I'd argue though he got that yellow card at the 47th minute. PK happened at the 50th minute, and then he got subbed out at the 56th minute, and that's 9 minutes between the yellow card to him getting subbed off, and we only saw 8 minutes of injury time. So I was kind of curious as to, we saw 3 rounds of subs. And I mean, we had fouls all over the place too. It wasn't like it was perfect game all the way through. And I was kind of shocked only 8 minutes happened, because I feel like we spent at least 5 or 6 just doing the Ederson thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And for me, we're the late team comeback, so I would have taken 12. I was like, we ain't scared of the final part of the game, but
sure, yeah.
The ultimate peak of this game was Doku karate kicking McAllister, which it's time to dive hard into that. Saving it for the last part here. Chad, was it a PK?
I think so. I'm only trying to play like devil's advocate here, only because like the conjecture of it will be better.
Just be neutral.
I'm neutral, but if I had to say yes or no, I would say PK. But trying to look at what maybe VAR saw, I know technically the ball hits Doku first, but I think
I don't think technically. I think we've looked at that again, and I don't think it did.
From what I saw, it's very hard to tell either way, but I think that's what they were going off of.
Okay.
They decided it hit him first. For me, the bigger thing in deciding that wouldn't be a PK is that, Doku's already kind of has his foot up in that motion, and then McAllister kind of jumps in.
Mm-hmm.
But, his foot is still high and studs are up, and it's a dangerous play. I think that like I think Jurgen said, outside of the box, that's probably a foul. Anywhere else on the pitch, it could be a corner flag, it could be the opposite end of the field. It's probably a foul.
Do you remember when Curtis Jones got a red card earlier this year against Tottenham?
Yep.
What did he do? What did he do, Chad? He gets that ball first?
Very, very similar situation here. I think should have been a PK. I think this was just a Premier League ref doesn't want to make the big call at the end of the game, but Doku kind of gets baited into that weird situation where the easier route would have been to just head it away. avoid the potential high boot or kick to the chest. But he decided to put his foot up there, and then it's just one of those where you put your team at risk and yourself at risk for the ref seeing it the opposite way. So
let me ask you this: if he would have kicked him in the face, same exact thing happens, but boot hits face. Is that clear and obvious?
Look, I've seen Tomiyasu get his face stepped on with a boot, and they didn't call it. So don't know. I don't know.
This is just Michael Oliver just sticking it to us again.
Yeah,
it's God. This guy's driving me crazy this year.
Yeah, incredible for it to not be called a PK or even really like game stopped and looked at.
They
right? Like
barely looked at this thing.
I think if a way for VAR to improve in these situations is anytime it's like potential penalty foul in the box. I think regardless of what the VAR feels, just send the ref to the screen. Let them get a second look. VAR isn't supposed to kind of re-ref situations.
Right.
And I think by looking at something and them deciding, no, it's not a foul, you are kind of exerting some influence on that, right? Whereas if it's just like, if you just see it and it's more objective of like, okay, this is a foul or not, maybe, I don't know, gray area, whatever you want to call it, just send the ref to the screen. Like, let them have a second look. I think that would clear up a lot of these situations. Especially in the penalty box where, we've seen fouls not get called just because it's decided that penalty box, you need more excessive force than this, I guess.
Or Holland barely getting touched.
Yeah,
and getting a PK.
Yeah.
Check out the link I just sent you. It's a great angle that we didn't get to see on live TV.
Oh God!
Showing McAllister beating Doku to that ball with his shoulder. Clearly beats him. There's no doubt about it. Especially when you slow it down. Now, real time, sure, it might look like it was even. But with Michael Oliver's view, it's different there. But McAllister clearly gets that ball first. I think you can clearly see that he wins it. Now, does he go in with his shoulder and kind of know he's going to get kicked? I think so.
I think so. I think that's what VAR is using a little bit too, in that he kind of turns to protect himself. But whether you're going in for this kind of play or a header, you're still going in some way to try and protect yourself. So I mean, yeah, like, this definitely needed a more significant check. Certainly sending Oliver to the screen, just they don't want to make the big call when it matters.
It's crazy, dude. There's just so many moments this year. I'm just like, what's happening? So I don't know if you saw too. Afterwards, Klopp went up to Oliver, and did you catch this at all? Did you see the end of the game? Okay, so I love lip reading, chat. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. I couldn't see what Klopp was saying because his back is to the camera, but he's talking to Oliver like this, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about when that PK was happening and he was doing the McAllister thing, and Oliver goes, "When?" Like that. Like, he had no clue what Klopp was talking about. I'll try to find that exact clip, but you can see when Michael Oliver says "when" so clearly. So it's like Klopp's just like, "Whoa."
So I mean, even if let's say that is the situation of like, Michael Oliver, for whatever reason, was looking elsewhere, didn't see this play out. Is that not just like further reason to just like, something happened in the box, send the ref to the screen? Like, I get it. There's a lot to watch as a ref. Like, the video I posted today of the German ref with the camera on him, that speed of play is quick. Yeah, follow the ball, but like, you're also kind of
fast.
Watching a wide field of view, right? So I don't want to go on another VAR rant necessarily, but there are these improvements I think they can make to just make it more fair, ideally, and more clear, ideally.
It needs to be transparent.
It needs to be transparent. And it looks really bad for Premier League to have fouls like this go not only unpunished, but basically unchecked.
I know. If they would have ruled it after looking at it, stating it to us, what they saw, how they saw it that way,
Yeah.
sure. I still have to live with it, but this just left like an open door at the end of this game, and I was just like, and all I'm seeing right now is comments from other referees, Clattenburg saying, "Oh, definitely a PK." It's like, well, ain't that nice? If I had a nickel.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like it's so easy now for everyone post game to say, it should have been a PK, but like you got to get it right in the moment. And if you can't get it right in the moment, that's what VAR is for, to give you a second moment to make it right.
And if you are wrong, own it.
Or that too, like
they'll never own it. That'll never happen.
They'll never own it, and I get you want refs to kind of have this weird aura of like always correct, can do no wrong around them, but like they're just a dude out there running around watching the game, right? Like, yeah, we're starting to give them more tools with VAR, but if the VAR doesn't want to tell their best friend like, "Oh, you fucked up," like, then what's the point of having VAR? Like,
if you give me a hammer and I'm using the wrong side of the hammer, why'd you give me a hammer?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a tough draw to take for Liverpool.
It is. It felt like that was ours.
I think so. I think so.
Felt like that was our win. And that's okay. Like, it's weird. It's like, this is one of those games where it might not feel as robbed, but I'm so content with like how we're ending this season where I think it's going to be okay. This isn't like the Tottenham game where I was like, what the fuck just happened? Right? It's like
that's just like a whole case study on its own. Like,
but like that just left me so like, you might have just like screwed up our whole season. Mm-hmm. This one didn't really screw up our season, right? It's more just like, I don't know, maybe even extra motivating. It's like, okay, we probably should have beat City, right? Yeah. We just lost to Arsenal a couple weeks ago with half of our team gone. And now we don't have to play them again. And now the pressure is on Arsenal at the top and City right beneath us for them to go out, because they are now the top two teams with their full squads back. And now we're returning, but we're still in second place, technically tied for first. Like, I really like the spot we're in to end this 10 game. With these 10 games left, like I think the kids are going to be okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight finish either way it goes. Second and third, I think, is probably the preferred spot at the moment.
Right now, for sure.
But I think for Arsenal to be in first and still have to go away to City, I think is probably better for them. If City plays like this, I think Arsenal can take them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and especially with if Ederson's not there, that's not that he's ever making too crazy of saves, but it at least disrupts that back line a little bit more.
Ortega's different. He's different enough from Ederson to where he's not. I mean, Ederson's good with his feet. Ortega didn't really seem like that's in his game, which obviously why he's playing a ton. But City likes to control the game, and we didn't let that happen. And so everyone should take note. Like, don't let City control the game, and you have a chance, but also don't fall asleep.
Yeah. Just need Arteta not to like galaxy brain it, because
you don't need to.
He seems to have gotten that out of his system, but I think when he comes up against Pep, I think it's always going to be just a risk of like, well, I learned a lot from Pep, so I got to like really think outside the box on this one, and things can happen then. But
you don't got to beat Pep to beat Pep.
Exactly.
All right, Chad, we ranted for like 40
There were
minutes.
other games this weekend.
Yeah, let's talk about the other stuff that went down. Honestly, though, kind of a straightforward week. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, when the top three teams are playing against each other, it's going to take the spotlight. But let's just bust it out. Man U, Everton.
Did you see their formation?
Who's?
United?
No. Were they rocking a 4 at the top?
They were playing no striker, technically.
Were they going, what, 4-5?
Oh, let me pull up.
Oh, see, I have 4 at the top here, but it must have been like a they're playing like a 4-2-4.
Yeah, so it's a 4-2-4-0 though. Like Rashford's on the wing, Garnacho on the wing, Bruno and McTominay in the middle. That's a bold strategy.
And if Everton wasn't just shit right now, it wouldn't have paid off.
Yeah, like I put in my notes like bold strategy, and then by the end of watching it, I was like, don't think that paid off. Like if you tried that against any other team, it even a nosedived.
This was an experimental squad they put out there. I mean, McTominay up in the forwards. I mean, not forward, but pretty much the forward spot.
Yeah.
I don't know what the game plan was here. It worked out. I mean, Garnacho, I think on the right is nice.
Yeah.
No, he earned those PKs. He's fast.
Yeah, they got the win, but like,
but Everton sucks.
Yeah, it didn't look convincing. I mean, it was through 2 PKs, which, goal's a goal, but like, it's Everton who's been bad for a while now, and like, striker or not, I would hope you're getting more chances and if not multiple open play goals, at least one.
Mm-hmm. Did you see what Rooney said about Rashford?
Oh, remind me, because I think I did.
When Rooney was being asked if he thought the critics were being too harsh on Rashford and if he had any sympathy for him, and Rooney simply said, not much, to be honest. He's in a privileged position where he plays for Man United. I was like, damn, that's cold. And he ain't wrong.
I mean, yeah, fair take.
Right.
Rooney had his time at United and earned it, I guess
the best
you could
of
say.
It. Yeah.
Whereas, Rashford, I think, came out hot at his time at United, and then, got the good deal, got the almost always starting role.
Great PR.
Yeah, great PR, like, kind of fizzled out, and then it seemed like when talk would kind of come up about him, that's when he hit his, like, all right, I'll just score for like a month. But then this season, it hasn't really happened.
I won't be shocked if he's not on Man United next year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think there were links to PSG. I don't know if I would really see him going there, but I mean, I think United is. I mean, they've kind of been in this weird in between rebuild phase for so long. If they're going to stick with Ten Hag, then okay, do it. But Martial's got to go, Rashford's got to go. I'd probably try and move Anthony if you can, but you just brought him in, so that's probably can't. Yeah, they've got a lot of refresh to do, and yeah, it doesn't make sense to really build with Rashford at this point. Like, I don't think he's contributed enough over the past 2 seasons that Ten Hag has been there.
Yep.
So,
fair take. Everton, they got to get their shit together. Out of the bottom five teams, Everton and Forest are the only ones who didn't get points this week. And fair play to Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield for getting points. And there's still a bit of a climb to make, but they put West Ham and who else? Palace and Bournemouth, who are teams that are significantly better, both on paper and on the table. They put them through tough matches. Palace, that goal they had, the Mateta goal, was sick. Really like that one. Nice. And then the Luton comeback, though, you just never check out against them.
Can't.
They're like not City, obviously, but you can't fall asleep against them either.
No, yeah, they're that team that never says die, and you shut off for one moment, and they're ready to go. And Palace had a few chances in this game to just like at least double their lead, and you gotta be able to finish.
Yep. I don't got much more to say on that game, though. That was pretty.
That
was pretty simple. Bournemouth, Sheffield, Solanke, man, that was a terrible PK. Very lucky to get the draw on this one with the late comeback.
Yeah. It's Bournemouth just got a little flustered, I think. Like, Sheffield takes the lead pretty early on, and then Neto, instead of he's coming out for that ball,
man.
just catch it, or at least punch it out and away, and then he just kind of flubs his punch and results in the own goal off of his own player.
That was so sloppy looking.
Yeah, it's just
so bad.
Bad showing for Bournemouth. But they got the draw at least out of there. So
took them to the last second, but they got there.
Yeah. They do have Luton next, so I don't know. Could be a interesting game there, and that's I think the makeup game from when Lockyer went out.
Oh, okay.
So it's I think Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. But, so how are they playing that? Full time, they're doing full 90?
I think full 90. I don't
look that up.
I didn't hear anything else about it. But if Luton comes away with a win there, then they're level with Forest. So it's going to get a little spicy down there at that relegation end. At least that last spot. I think Sheffield and Burnley are well and truly relegated at this point. But
so I had a question for you. I will have to go back and look, but so that game ended at the 69th minute. Did we stat track it? Well, I don't.
Maybe, but I don't know that we had any other players really in.
Oh, you're right. Pool. I don't think we had anyone. I don't think we would have had Solanke. I guess Lockyer. Lockyer would have been in it.
Lockyer was there.
I want to say we tracked him.
And I think we had Mepham, but that guy
he played this weekend.
Yeah, but so yeah, I don't think we had anyone to track with it. So
that was week 17, I believe. Well, I raised this questions because Solanke and Adebayo, they scored in that game, but they removed those goals from any type of stats.
Oh,
so. No, I'm not saying we should remove anything because that's not how we work. But at the same time, if you had a Luton player, you could double up on the same game here. I can't find it in FBref now from week 17. So.
Oh really? So it must just be a complete replay then. If
they're taking the goals off. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, if you had Lockyer that game, obviously he's not playing this time around, so
yeah.
I guess it's kind of still fair play.
If you still have him, sub him out.
Yeah, what are you doing? That's funny. All right, where are we next here?
Let's do Wolves. I got to talk about Neto.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Chad. Vent to me, baby.
I think I'm just cursed sometimes when I pick fantasy players. Neto looked great. Even without Hwang there for a while, he was still getting some good play time. Then Hwang went out with an injury, and then Neto just seemingly re-injures his hamstring. That's at least what it's listed at. And last time that happened, he missed 8 matches. So not exactly done for the season, but probably.
Yeah.
So, Wolves are now without Hwang, without Neto. Clearly got the win here, but they're going to have to find a readjustment and quick to figure out their attack because, Neto alone was such a huge provider and creator of just dangerous situations, right? So we'll see how they go, but man, now I gotta. I was gonna make some subs soon anyway, but now it's force my hand to make it even sooner.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm probably gonna wait till after the break ends, just because we have so many postponements.
Yeah.
This next weekend, and then when we come back on the 30th, I'm looking to probably make 3 changes. I already kind of have them in my head, but we'll see how the points shape out this week. Watkins back to his old self.
See, he's still in there.
He's still
the Watkins you knew.
Yeah, I knew it was he had a nice stretch here, but I think we're back to probably the 1 or 2 points a week thing. At least I hope. So I'm pretty. I don't like my Tony pick right now. Tony's gonna need to do something this weekend to really prove to me. He's on the block, Chad. I'm ready to just.
I agree. Yeah.
I have plenty of options for striker to put in there, but he's either got to put up a brace. I think a brace to make it. If he doesn't put 2 goals up this weekend, there's just so. I mean, Burnley. So it's possible. Happen. It's possible, right? But if he can't put a brace against Burnley, I got a lot of guys kind of in the wings ready to go and ready to win me a title this year. So, and same goes for my midfielders. Kudus, where you at, homie? I know you got some take-ons, but Cole Palmer's sitting there saying, hey.
Cole's been great.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm kind of thinking too, like, last 10 games, for me, the jump up to like Champions League spot is probably out of the question, but I'm still going to try. So I'm going to have to make some changes here soon. And hopefully I make the right ones and don't throw my curse onto any other players, but we'll see.
I believe in you. And, there's, Soupy right now. He probably doesn't know this. Probably not going to hear this part of the pod. Trippier's out for the rest of March. So he didn't play. Yes, he didn't play today. And then Pinnock still out. So I'm getting kind of lucky here with him not having those 2 players, and he hasn't made. He's made 1 sub this year. So, I can't hold my lead. I just need my boys to step up a little bit, just a little bit. So, all right. Sorry about Neto, but Wolves take the victory against Fulham. That was I thought it was a good Wolves showing. I didn't think it was terrible.
Yeah. No, not at all.
I thought Fulham, obviously not themselves yet. I think Paulinho playing the full 90 is what they need. They brought him in late. Obviously, he's just such a good midfielder to break down teams and intercept everything that comes his way. So he was desperately missed. But for the Wolves not having Hwang and Neto and, still finding a way to win.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Semedo had a great hit. It was deflected, but, still put a lot of power on it. And yeah. I think Wolves will just have to, I don't think they can continue to go on with this just, hope something happens good for us or that they kind of had in this game. You're going to have to figure out your attacking line and, you just got to replace that danger that Neto brought. And don't think it's going to be too straightforward, but they got some good players in there.
Well, they're safe, right? They're not going to get relegated. They're too far up. They're ninth right now. They're fine.
Chilling. Yeah,
they're gonna hit the probably the stop button. Probably gonna make sure their key guys are safe for next season, and I hope they make a push for top 6. I do think they have really good talent on their team. I think they just need 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I think that Hwang and Neto partnership is. I mean, when they were both out there, they were scoring a lot. They were looking really good. I think Neto will probably stay just because of his injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the bigger teams will be afraid to take that on.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think if they can find some creator in the midfield, whether that's more attacking mid or just a deeper creator, I think that'll be good to kind of, unleash Neto on his runs and provide a little bit more. And probably just a little bit defensive help. Saw is still a solid keeper. I think he's safe. He's good to have. But I think your defensive line, you gotta freshen that up a little bit.
Put a James Ward on there, and who's a good defender that might be free next year? Tarkowski.
Oh, that'd be a good pick. Yeah.
If Everton goes down, which could happen, I could see a fire sale to the Wolves. Something to keep our eye on because I don't believe. I still have a weird feeling Everton's going to get relegated. I
mean, with the way they play, they're safe for now, but
I
think Luton can get it together these last 10 games.
I think
claw
they
their way
can
out.
too. We'll see. We'll see what happens on that final day. All right, Tottenham and Villa. Don't have too much to say on this, even though it was 4-0. Tottenham just came out. They brought it. The red card to McGinn was irrational, silly. I don't know what he was thinking. Frustration, but a weird time to be frustrated. I mean, you're a team that's been doing really well and scoring lots of goals. I mean, how many goals have they scored in their last 3 games previous to this one? 9 goals in their last 3. So to say you can't come back from 2-0, like that's crazy.
I feel like we talk about, Emery kind of setting each game up as like a cup final, or at least like a cup competition, right?
Do or die.
I feel like if he tried that this game, he maybe like made it too big of an occasion.
This is it. After this, the season's over because we lost.
Yeah, I don't know, because like I think Villa started really well, but then they go down, and I think they just fell apart. And then McGinn comes in with this just stupid challenge and gets sent off, and like he's trying to stay on the pitch to see if VAR will overturn it. I was like, you know what you did, just get out of here. Like, I mean that's a big loss for Villa. Tottenham's right on their tail in the table. The 4, I think, maybe exaggerates how good Tottenham was on the day. Like, they were good, but I think the 4 is aided with that red card in there.
Yes.
But I mean, what a bummer to see Villa just kind of fall flat on what was kind of their cup final, right? To just like get that separation to stay in Champions League.
Would have been a huge win for them. So much more separation from 4 to 5, and especially with the momentum they had from all these previous games where Watkins was out of control, and it's like they went and played in Europe and didn't get anything done, and kind of just rolled that into the Premier League this weekend. So rough for them, but good for Tottenham for getting the much needed. I mean, that win for Tottenham might have just given them enough momentum to say, oh yeah, we're much better than Villa. We can probably outbeat them in points in the last 10, which at this point now, I don't know what Villa is. I kind of know what Tottenham is, right? They're a team that's going to score a lot and not play a lot of defense, so don't lose in the first 30 minutes. Similar to Arsenal, but obviously Arsenal's so much more well-rounded. Pressure's on Villa now. Take away the top 3. Pressure's on Villa to hold that number 4 spot.
Yeah, and I mean, that could be a factor too. It's just kind of getting to them of, I don't know the last time they were in Champions League, but quite a long time at least, so it might be some of that of just kind of making each game now too big of a competition, and they're kind of, I mean, you saw McGinn just, I don't know, frustration or just too excited or what. I don't know what went through his head, but they don't have too easy of a schedule either. Next week they have West Ham, then Wolves and City right after, so they're gonna have to figure their shit out soon.
10 games left. Last time they were in Europe for Champions League, we were just being born. So,
nice.
It's been that long.
Yeah, damn.
All right. Yeah. See what they can do. This Brighton game probably should have been 0-0, but by
Brighton
sheer
has
luck,
become a stale team. I don't know what's happened. I know they lost Matoma.
I'm gonna start to argue Sully March was much better than what we thought he was for this team, because he was great last year. I mean, he was on my fantasy team, and of course, a little biased, but he hasn't played at all this year. God, he's been injured for so long.
Yeah.
And he's so versatile. I mean, Pascal Gross is kind of that same player, and he's definitely their bright spot, but no Matoma. no João Pedro, no Billy Gilmore, no James Milner.
Well, that's the key piece right there, missing Milner. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, Brighton's been shaky for, I'd say, the past couple months at least. But I think they're just kind of, I don't know if they're just getting tired. Like, they have had to contend with European games.
They're getting smoked in those.
I mean, yeah, they're not even playing well in those. So I don't know if it's like too many matches for what they are used to, or De Zerbi just doesn't really have like he had his A plan and like that was working at the start of the season, but like, you have to kind of adjust as the season goes, and maybe he didn't have a fully fleshed out like how to transition from that plan to other plans. I don't know. I mean, I think even if Matoma was there for this game, it just seemed Brighton is just kind of stale, and they lost that excitement and fire that they were playing with at the start of the season.
I mean, they might have goal of the year from Matoma's run, so he
True.
can do that. He's the type of player who can do that all by himself, and I do think he's just severely missed when he's not in top fit mode. So like, even if he isn't there, I think that's enough for this team to just come down a whole level.
Yeah, I mean, fair, but then you got to work on your squad building. Like,
I agree completely. This team is nothing special right now.
Nah, yeah, it's kind of a bummer because it was always fun to kind of see their games, and they started the season scoring a lot of goals, but like even the games later on where they weren't scoring so much, they were still just exciting to watch, and they've kind of just, I don't know, like plateaued a little bit.
Yeah, they fizzled out.
Yeah.
But Forest, not a whole lot happening there. I don't really know what this team is either. I think they have a very strong chance of getting relegated. Gio Reyna, why did you bring him in if he's just not playing?
Yeah.
I don't fully understand that. He did get reported as having a knock, but that's so vague and that can mean anything. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening with that move, with that team. Everton and Forest could both go down for all I care right now, because
it
ain't pretty.
Just on like, I guess maybe excitement to watch, I would rather have Luton stay up than Everton or Forest.
Totally agree with you.
At least they're out there fighting and finding these wins against teams they should beat sometimes, and sometimes, like, if not a win, at least a draw against like a team that they should have had no business doing that with. But Everton and Forest, like, they're both just kind of the same side of the coin, right? Like,
yep.
They're not fun to watch. They don't really understand what they are, so we don't understand what they are, and I know Everton's been the Premier League for a long time, but like, maybe it's time to just take a step out, figure your shit out, because you got all these profit sustainability point deductions and stuff going on now. So like, get situated, get that new stadium finished, and then reboot from there. But yeah, I don't know. Forest is, ever since they had the summer of signing like 30 players or whatever it was, it's like, this is not going to.
We all knew. Like, what are you doing? What is happening here? Well, Luton Forest play this weekend, so that'll be the big one. If Luton wins this game, they win more than two.
So Luton play Bournemouth midweek. So if they win that, then you're level on points with Forest. That's
they're down a game. Well, they just got to score 2 more goals than Bournemouth, and they're ahead of them. So,
jeez.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't even realize games played was off too. Fascinating.
Yeah, so big week for Luton, actually.
Bigger week for Forest.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Oh, man. All right, we got 2 more here. West Ham and Burnley. West Ham Dude, I don't know what you're doing, man. You're confusing me.
Look, Paqueta's back. Like, what's the deal?
I never am like a person who says like, well, I did my job. I fucking hate that. But Paqueta kind of did his job this game, and everyone else was kind of like not up to that challenge. I do think not having Zuma makes a big difference for the West Ham backline.
Yeah.
As much as I dislike the guy, I just think he is good for what they need to do. I think Calvin Phillips probably shouldn't play for them. Just probably shouldn't. It sucks that he should be on a team, I think, that has no pressure. And I think West Ham is just still in that position. Where are they at in the table right now? They're not like crazy far out, right?
No, I mean they're seventh,
which is still like fifth is close, right? Fifth is really close, but they're not out of reach of it. It's still there. It's lingering, and like every win does really put the teams in front of them in a stressful place. But Calvin Phillips is not in a position to be playing for a winning squad. Like, it's just not, and it sucks. But like if he were on Everton right now, hell, he might be like, okay, I got to be the man down here to make sure we don't get our butts kicked, right? But now he's going to be on a West Ham team that says we need to go kick their butts. It's very different mentality.
True.
So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It almost feels like Calvin Phillips took that deal at City and is like, all right, I made it. Not playing. Oh well, still making the money, right? So, like, yeah, City will ship him out on loan because why have a player just sit on the bench you're never going to use? But I don't know. I think maybe either he's checked out because he's still making City money, or he maybe has this ego to him of feeling too good for this team, so doesn't really want to like put the focus and play in for this team because he's like, well, I'm on City, so I'm better than West Ham. I was on the treble winning team, right? Like, I don't know what's going on with him, but if Moyes is smart for these next 10 games, just like don't even play him. It's not worth it.
I mean, you took him off in this game, and then you score 2 goals.
Yeah, it got much better.
You look in the past at when he gets brought off and when he gets brought on, you're either already winning and you bring him in, or what game was this? The Forest game, you bring him in there, he gets double yellow, red card, and they lose 2-0 against Forest, who's about to could be relegated.
Could be relegated, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. West Ham's in a weird funk, Shout outs to Fofana for the screamer, though. That was pretty sick. Yeah. Mavropanos, former Arsenal player, didn't ever light it up when he was at Arsenal, so, they sold him off, and he's had, I think, a couple good moments at West Ham.
Yeah. It seems solid-ish.
Yeah. I think he kind of has these moments, too, where, like, he just, I don't know, like, not quick enough to adjust his feet, and then, makes the weird little lunge for the ball, and, all right, own goal. So, like, sick. Down 2.
They found a way, though. Paqueta
found a way.
Right after the half, came out screaming. Yeah. And then it just took him till the very end. And Ings of all people, he'll do this like once a year. He'll find a way to either get a winner or get the game back. And I think he'll probably do it for like another 8 years too. It's just going to be one of those. It's just one of those dudes. How old is he right now? Only 30. I feel like he's upper 30s. Yet we are older than him.
Only 30.
He's 31.
He's a rough 31. But yeah, he's probably playing until like, I'm gonna say 38. I think he'll call it at 38.
Yeah, he'll be the vet in the locker room, a Milner-esque. But that's just how West Ham has been.
Yeah.
Feel for them.
Yeah. So, what last game?
Last
Today's
game? Chelsea Castle.
Mm-hmm.
I got like two to three notes on this one. I think Sterling is a ball hog, which I think everyone saw on Discord today how much of a ball hog that guy is. Yeah. Holy crap, was Palmer wide open. Okay.
Yeah.
Wild. I think Cole Palmer is a bright and shining star for this team, and they need to lean into him way harder. His goal was fantastic. Absolute rocket. And then the final note from this game was the Mudryk goal and how the commentator said, "This is why you brought him in." It's like, dude, that guy kind of stole the ball from Gallagher and just like kind of found his way.
He's just already running, and then the ball's at his feet. Is oh shit.
And then he almost kicked it right into a defender and didn't make it in the goal.
Nearly, yeah.
It was that close. It could have gone either way. Luckily, he had so much pace behind the ball where it's like the momentum of it was going too far in. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that was... Chelsea just confuses me, man, because I'm like, they look good. Like, they looked okay this game, but they almost still could have found a way to not win this game, too.
Yeah. I mean, Jacob Murphy has this banger.
Bruh.
To make the last closing minutes of this game so nervy for Chelsea. Like, you had a 3-1 lead. You got to just shut that down at that point. You know, yeah, Chelsea's a weird one, too. Like, they certainly looked better here than they have for majority of the season.
Because of Palmer, though, right?
Because
it's mostly Palmer.
Yeah, it's mostly Palmer. You know, Nick Jackson had the nice little flick to get the opening goal.
Right.
And beyond that, like,
because of Palmer, though.
A whole lot. Yeah, because of Palmer. Like, and you know, very could have made this potentially a 4-1 game if Sterling would have just passed to Palmer.
Oh my God, how wide! And you know, I gave credit to Sterling when he controlled that ball and brought it down.
It was great control.
It took such a weird bounce, and it almost went behind him, and he had to like bring the ball in front of him. And I was like, you just did the hardest part.
Yeah. and I mean, you think he's done that. He's like, okay, I'm on the right side of the defender, goal side, running forward. You're probably looking over seeing Palmer, right? Like, you should.
If he isn't, then what else was he looking at?
He just tunnel visioned on that goal, I think, because he hit that keeper and he said, let me try and do a move. And then, you know, just an okay shot off of that. But, like, by that time, they had two defenders in the goal. Like, if you got to top bins that with power to get that in, and that was not the shot. But
you know, with the Paqueta goal, when he had Kudos to his left, and he could have passed it, and probably would have been an easy Kudos goal, but Paqueta had the mentality to just slot it in. Mm-hmm. Sterling hesitated the whole run up. It was like he right from the start of him gathering that ball, when he had full control of it, he didn't know what he was going to do. He wasn't decisive.
I don't think he expected to like pull that move off to get control of the ball. And then did, and it was like, all right, well, I'll go score. And then, you know, tunnel vision, I think. I
guess. I just noticed, it's funny they gave Gallagher the assist on the Mudryk goal.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Fair enough, but,
I guess.
You know.
I was like, if he would have missed that, I think Gallagher would have been pissed, because he was like kind of setting up, you know, what they wanted to do around the box. But hey, I mean, you can't shame someone for scoring. I just think the commentators maybe were trying to be like, that was amazing. It's like, well,
it was almost the same. Yeah, it was almost the same as like, I think it was City, or no, is Hoyland, where the ball like comes to him and he like chests it in.
Oh yeah,
like, that was a great goal. It's like he had no idea about that. It just hit him and went in. Like, it's that same kind of energy.
He's getting out of the way.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. The Isaac goal, though, that was great. Great open hip shot.
Yeah, very nice.
To bend it in. But the Murphy goal, I haven't seen him in a minute. Where has he? Has he even hurt?
I know he was dealing with some shoulder issues for a while. He got it like dislocated and then like
Oh wow,
redislocated or something. So
that's a fun player.
yeah, he's just been, I mean, Newcastle has a pretty extensive list of injuries,
Yeah.
so he's been there. But now it looks like Anthony Gordon is going out for a while, so
Sucks, man.
I'm sure Murphy will get some good play time here. But
That's been their
yeah.
player of the year too, Gordon.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
Yeah, but like you said, Chelsea won and still bottom half of the table.
Shocking. I swore. I was like, wow, did this actually propel them up? Nope.
Not quite.
you
They're
believe
right
that?
there, but
But they ain't. Yeah. So let's see who they got next. Can they do it on the next one?
Where are they? Oh, they got. Oh no, that's postponed. Sorry.
Yeah,
Burnley next.
Burnley.
So they could do it, but
and Castle has City. Yeah, no, so that's FA Cup.
oh yeah, postponed. So
West Ham.
Castle has West Ham next. So
Good
I don't know. It depends what West Ham shows up.
This is all on West Ham.
Depends what Chelsea shows up.
It's true. The Chelsea against City or the Chelsea against who else they dropped the ball on?
So many other teams.
Just look in the last 5. Brentford. We'll go with that one.
Yes. Okay.
Well, we have a couple games. What, 6 games this weekend in total?
Yeah, it's a little bit reduced
1,
with the
2,
FA Cup.
3, 4 games this weekend. Oh, God,
Yeah,
what
pretty
am I gonna
light.
do?
No heavy hitters, I'd say. Like,
No, the Villa West Ham is probably the one that I'll watch the closest. But actually, I'll get to watch a majority of these.
Nice.
I guess Fulham Tottenham. If Fulham can beat Tottenham, I think that would be pretty fascinating. But yeah, that's about it. So it'll be a quick pod next weekend, and then when we get back on the 30th, how many games on that Saturday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games on the Saturday, and then Sunday we get Liverpool, Brighton, and City and Arsenal. Let's go! Let's go! You excited?
After watching this week's City game,
yeah,
I feel very confident. I hate that game directly after international break. They just ruin the flow, and fingers crossed no injuries happen over the break, and excited for it, but like also just it's a very big game for the season, so a healthy amount of nerves in there too.
That's fair. I mean, you should be a little nervous, but also I think City is the one who needs to prove that they can still take y'all out.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, if Arsenal can do the double over City this year, that's
pass the torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's pretty much all the games here. Fun tidbit, though. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but in November, City and Liverpool drew 1-1, and Arsenal beat Brentford with the Kai Havertz winner to put them at the top of the table. And we saw this exact same thing happen this weekend. Havertz winner against Brentford with a 1-1 draw, City and Liverpool. Pretty fascinating, right?
Havertz just hates Brentford. That's the only explanation.
Only when Liverpool and City draw.
Only, yeah.
Except last time, I think the draw happened before your game.
I think
so. And this one was afterwards. So a little reverse, but still fun nonetheless. All right, Chad, let's get into our nominations. Let's start with team.
Okay. I don't think it'll be my number one nomination, but I did have Arsenal down just because this was a game that could have very easily, maybe not knocked them out of the title race, but been a big speed bump.
Yep.
So for them to kind of stay calm and focused and, just keep chipping away at Brentford and finally getting that goal, I think shows some good maturity over last season. I got Liverpool in there. I know you didn't win, but
No way.
To make City look that bad, to silence Holland, to have Kevin De Bruyne pulled out. It's not the 3-point win, but it's a win in the draw.
It's a mental win, dude.
Mental win,
it really is. That's my the Tottenham Villa thrashing. That's fine, but I think the Liverpool City game is kind of for Liverpool team of the week. I mean, you had a bunch of guys previously out. We didn't even see a full Mo Salah. We saw 25% of him in this game, really, and in his first 2 minutes, making a huge contribution. And if that would have gone in, that would have been like play of the season.
That pass was incredible.
It should get talked about more and more and more. And the fact it wasn't finished just is heart wrenching. But I'm with you on Arsenal. I think if it was anyone but Brentford, I'd lean into it a little bit more. But it's really hard to argue against Liverpool.
Yeah, I think I'm going Liverpool. Like I had Tottenham down 2 just because it is that 4-5 battle. But
the difference between 1, 2, and 3 and 4 and 5 is so dramatic.
Exactly. Like that top 3 is so tight and has been for a while now, and I think will continue to be. And I think it was while Tottenham was very good on the day, I think it more came down to Villa just not playing well on the day. Not to take anything away from Tottenham, like they earned that win and did so in good style, but I think we've been pretty good about any team that can like take it to City. Like they kind of get, if not the nomination, at least the flowers. And for Liverpool to do this with missing 5-6 first team players, it was just as a neutral in this. I mean, I had some investment because of the points at play. It was still a fun game to watch, and great to see City kind of just flustered, like Holland getting so like frazzled with Joe Gomez over I don't know what, but Joe he's getting in his head.
Yep.
That guy's no longer a robot. He's a human now.
That too. He looked way too happy. I mean, we didn't talk about this, but Holland looked way too happy at the end of that game. Like that was not killer instinct that we kind of knew, or at least thought it was goals and breathing, right? That was Holland. And now it looked a little more, we're not going to see these fiery Instagram messages after games where he's upset. I think I don't want to say he didn't peak. I don't think he peaked. No. But like he won everything already. What's the hunger now? What's his drive? And if he doesn't have that anymore for City, that's crazy. He doesn't have it by year 2, but also I kind of understand it because it's like I already won everything with City. Like what do I have to do here again? I mean, they almost need to lose this season just to like reinvigorate some of these players, probably, and maybe even Pep, right? Like, I'm here for it. I mean, sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, for player, I got a couple in here. I could definitely say Virgil, just because he's an absolute unit, just a dog back there. I got to give my flowers to Cole Palmer too. I think if he isn't on Chelsea today, they lose that game. I think you could say the same about Declan Rice and Ben White for that matter. Yeah. I think Ben White, very similar build up in the way they scored those 2 goals, but without those 2 guys contributing the way they are, Arsenal, I don't know if they win that game the same way. I'm not saying they don't win it, but I'm just saying it's not the same. So those are kind of like my big ones right there. No one else really stood out to me like as the absolute player, but if it isn't Virgil, it has to be Cole. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. If it isn't Virgil, I understand.
I mean, I kind of had a Virgil Kelleher like package deal.
Yeah, that's fair.
Almost expanding just to the whole like defensive line plus Endo.
Yeah, man.
Because I mean, they all played so well. We already talked about Bradley looking so good game after game. Kwanzaa we didn't even talk about, but like,
Did his job.
He didn't do anything offensive. He didn't do anything incredible, but like kept it very level and did his job, kept his head during a very big game. Virgil's got the highlight there of keeping Holland quiet and staying calm under Holland's only shot. But Kelleher, you let in one goal, but like he also had a lot of good saves in there too.
For sure.
So I think I'd like to kind of package it that way of like a Liverpool defense, or if you want to put names on it, like a Virgil Kelleher package. But otherwise I had pretty much the same. The only one I would add in is Son. I mean, game was kind of over by the time he got his goal and his I think his second assist, but you're still knocking on that team directly above you and making them look much worse than they actually are. So
Villa does that.
Yeah, I mean, I if we're gonna give Liverpool team of the week, I know we don't like to like double dip, but like they almost kind of do also, I think, deserve the players of the week here.
Their defense, you got 5 guys back there, and the team. They just take it all, just sweep the board. I'm good with that, Chad. I love it.
Yeah.
They won't win goal of the week, so we'll split it up here. I got a list. It's a nice list.
Okay.
The Mateta goal, I like that one a lot. The Fofana goal,
yes.
Peak. Nick Jackson being fast on the flick, I thought was impressive. Again, Cole Palmer, you can thank him. I thought the Isaac goal was nice. I thought the Cole Palmer goal was very nice. And then the Jacob Murphy goal. But if I'm going to rank these, I'll just do my top 3. It's got to be Fofana, and then Cole Palmer, and then Jacob Murphy. I thought all of them were bangers, absolute smashes. But the Fofana one, that probably surprised me the most.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, like the Murphy one surprised me too, but game was mostly over at that point. Whereas the Fofana is like, we don't see him score like that, and then to like
and
do
I'm saying,
that,
who?
Yeah, right, and then, I mean, to do that and give Burnley the hope of getting out with a win, and maybe could have if Calvin Phillips stayed in. I don't know, but those are both great. The other ones I have are Ings. His goal is, while I think Sheffield should have defended that better, it's a nice little turn and just power it in. Woodrow from Luton, not the craziest goal, but to get that goal at the last like dying second of the game to get a point is huge for them. So worth shouting out. But I think I'm with you on Fofana. Just
it was too nice.
Just an absolute screamer.
I had to definitely say who? Which Fofana is this?
Yeah, right.
It's funny. And then meme of the week, Chad, you take this one. You take it all the way home.
Well, Sac Republic.
Walk me through it.
Season started again this weekend. Home opener and season opener. We got there early, got our food, got some drinks. We're walking back to the seats, and I see the Fox 40 News crew just standing there. And I pointed it out to Kara, and I was like, "Oh, Fox 40's here." Not really expecting to be asked to like be interviewed, but then we're walking by, and she's like, "Hey, you guys want to talk soccer?"
No way.
And I was like, "Sure, let's do it."
They asked you this question.
No, they asked.
I thought Kara asked them that question. I was like, good for her.
Yeah, so then we're kind of just generally talking about the night, and being back at a Sac Republic game, and this is in the video that I posted, and they were just like, "So what's it feel like to be back at a Sac Republic game?" I was like, "Oh, I'm so excited!"
So good, and then they just cut you off.
Yeah, we had like more to talk about. She asked me just the most biggest general question of like, "What do you like about soccer?" And I was like, "Jesus Christ!" Like trying to give some like articulate answer, but it was just like, it's just too big to.
What do you like about it? The balls. I love the balls. There.
Yeah, I feel like I gave a good answer to it, but like I guess as the story was edited, it didn't really play into it, which is fine. I'm just glad I made it on the news.
Hell yeah.
Kara also made it on the news. Huge soccer fan. Kara.
Did they ask you questions?
She gave some good answers about that we've been going to the games for almost 9 years now, and she enjoys like the food and the drinks and just the like party of it, and they put that up there, and I don't know, it was funny to see us make it on the news. I don't know, that it was just.
So did you know? Did you know you were going to be on there? Did someone watch it and see you? Like what? How'd you know you even made it?
I mean, we got home in time to watch the news, like not knowing if we were going to be there or not. But it was like, well, we had the interview, so let's just see.
Yeah.
And then I text my parents that like, oh, we did the interview, it might be on the news, and then we like were watching, and then we see it, and we're like kind of laughing about it, freaking out a little bit, and then Kara gets like messages from just random people that like we didn't tell that we did an interview, and they're like, I just saw you on the news.
It's awesome.
So yeah, local celebrity here. If you see me around, I'll give you an autograph.
Yeah, just tell everyone you're super excited.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm so excited. So good. I showed Kristen too, and she was like, hey, look at this new segment on Sac Republic, and she was waiting and waiting, and then she was just dying. It's too good. Too good. Yeah. So yeah, you are the winner of meme of the year, if we want to go that far with it.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Definitely didn't see that coming. It was great. Pretty quiet week for meme of the week, to be honest. Just the Mueller talk on there, which is, that guy cracks me up, man. I don't think he's ever. Yeah. He's not going to age, that guy.
No, he's looked the same for so long.
Yeah. With Bayern right now too, I don't think they're going to win their league either. So it's just a weird squad to be on. And
have you seen the best part of that? If they don't win,
what? No, explain it.
So if they don't win, obviously they don't get the Bundesliga trophy. So Kane again won't get a trophy, but he is most likely going to be the Golden Boot winner for Bundesliga, and the trophy for that is a cannon. So he's kind of getting the Arsenal logo as a trophy at the end of this.
He would get that regardless. I mean, if they were to win with...
yeah.
Should have known that walking in, but that's pretty awesome. I didn't know that. That's a great trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that thing's huge.
Oh, yeah. Just big old cannon on the plate.
I hope he wins it. He should win it, right? I think he has over 30 by now.
Yeah, I think he's clear in a way of top scorer, and will do so over the last. I don't know if they're at 10 games or 9 games or what, but
they play. I think they play 2 less.
I think that's right. They have 2 less teams in the league.
Yeah, so I think they got 36. So what is that?
Yeah.
They have 11 left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still a little to go. Damn, and Kane's at 30. Next closest 21. Yeah, he is cooking. Well, sick. I hope he wins his Gunner trophy. All right, Chad. I think we nailed it with this one. Hour 45 on the mark. Most of that was Liverpool, at least the first half. Episode 62 64? 64. Got it on first
That
try.
sounds right, yeah.
Happy chatting.
Yep.
10 games left, Chad. Best of luck to you.
That's it. We're in the running now, so
Crazy.
full steam ahead.
Crazy. Good luck against City. I'll speak to you prior to this, but just do us all a favor and kick their ass.
That's the plan.
Okay. With that, I think the Hooligans are out. Good night, everyone. Peace.